It's amazing how the tables have turned. Everything's flipped upside down. The war hawks used to be on the Republican side. I mean, I was all about going into Iraq back in the day because I really felt like Saddam Hussein was a problem. I believed they did have weapons of mass destruction. I was in favor of doing that. And of course, Afghanistan, where the Taliban was and where Al-Qaeda trained and all of those things. But you know what? After 20 solid years of nonstop, eternal war, kind of wore me down. So the fallout from the Oval Office meeting continues. Yesterday, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz on U.S. involvement with Ukraine. Here's what he said.
Success looks like President Zelensky sitting down and talking the terms of peace, talking about what he needs to see, Ukraine needs to see to get to a partial ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, and an end to this war. And what became so evident to us in that session was he's not ready to talk peace at all. But here's the problem. Time is not on his side. Time is not on the side of just forever continuing this conflict. The American people's patience is not unlimited. Their wallets are not unlimited. And our stockpiles and munitions are not unlimited that we need for all kinds of contingencies around the world. So the time to talk is now. And what we're hearing in terms of alternatives, whether it's the Democrats or leaders around the world, is essentially continuing this grinding World War I style trench warfare that is a meat grinder of people, munitions, and national treasure. The president campaigned on ending this war. He was elected to end this war. He will be the peacemaker in chief. But it was really confounding to us that Zelensky could have left the White House Friday having the U.S. and Ukraine bound together economically for a generation. You have the British talking about troops on the ground and a security guarantee. The French talking about troops on the ground and security guarantee. We even had the NATO Secretary General talk to the president just before the Zelensky meeting. So this was no ambush. This was an opportunity and a moment. And I think President Zelensky truly did his country a real disservice by not having a positive outcome Friday. And, we'll see where things are going forward.
Okay. It's amazing how the tables have turned. Everything's flipped upside down. The war hawks used to be on the Republican side. I mean, I was all about going into Iraq back in the day because I really felt like Saddam Hussein was a problem. I believed they did have weapons of mass destruction. I was in favor of doing that. And of course, Afghanistan, where the Taliban was and where Al-Qaeda trained and all of those things. But you know what? After 20 solid years of nonstop, eternal war, kind of wore me down. And I'm really not there anymore. And I really don't want anything to do with anybody else's wars. And that includes this one. But the Democrats, who were all peace doves before, who were all bragging about how none of them wanted to go into Iraq, now they all want continued military presence all over the world. It's really strange. Why? What is going on?
Because now they've learned how to make money
they
off
sure
of
have.
war.
Yeah. Raytheon, Boeing. I mean, look at their donors, and then you don't have to wonder as much. But it's amazing how this has turned around completely. And they're the ones who want us continually involved in this stuff. But here was Democrat Senator Chris Murphy.
So it is absolutely shameful what is happening right now. The White House has become an arm of the Kremlin. Every single day you hear from the National Security Advisor, from the President of the United States, from his entire national security team, Kremlin talking points. The last week, the White House has been pretending as if Ukraine started this war. That's essentially saying that Poland invaded Germany at the beginning of World War II. There are still facts in this world. And the fact is this. Vladimir Putin is a brutal dictator. Russia started this war. And the entire pretext for that meeting yesterday was an attempt to rewrite history in order
to
sign a deal with Putin that hands Putin Ukraine. That is
No.
disastrous for U.S. national security. That means that
lies about
China
it.
will be on the march. Putin may not stop. America may be at war with a nuclear power. And for
That's what you're pushing?
No for what?
That's what
it
you're
appears as
pushing.
if America is trying to align itself with dictators.
Jeez.
That Donald Trump
Unreal.
wants us
This
to
is
have our closest
incredible.
relationships with despots all around the world, because that
This guy's a liar.
easier for him to transition America into a kleptocratic oligarchy where Elon Musk and Donald Trump rule and steal from the American people.
Oh my gosh.
Democrats always accuse. You know
What? The United States' closest partner is Russia.
How are they?
Then it makes it a
Okay,
lot
I can't.
easier for Donald.
Stop. How are they stealing from the American people when they're the ones trying to stop the theft? They're doing the opposite. That's why we're hearing about all the fraud and expenditures that don't make any sense all over the world. And yet you're accusing them of being the thieves? Jeez.